All right, what is going on, guys? In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the June 15th deadline that every parent needs to know about. So, in this video, I'm going to be talking about really the most important day in junior golf recruiting, specifically for Division One programs more than anything else. This does apply for Division Two and Division Three, but it's really going to help you have perspective on the timeline that you're looking at for your child. I think this is one of the things that I see parents screw up the most often is they think that recruiting happens much further down the line and they just don't need to think about things until that point. And I always kind of like to use the analogy. It's kind of like saying, hey, I want to go to Harvard, but not understanding that you need to have a good GPA to go to Harvard and that you can't just manufacture a GPA within a few months of hard work. You have to do that over a long period of time. And even just to be in that position, right, you have to set yourself up realistically in middle school to even be in the right academic track. So this is going to help you guys clear up that timeline so you can make appropriate decisions about what you and your child need to do in order for them to either reach their goals or adjust whatever their goals are. So hopefully you guys enjoy this video. This is all this channel is about, is helping junior golfers develop to play Division One golf and helping you guys have clarity about what the process actually looks like. There's no hype. There's no fluff. I want to be super direct with you guys. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So if you're not already familiar, June 15th of sophomore year is when Division One programs can reach out to players, right? So you can technically reach out to Division One programs, but Division One programs are not going to reach out to you until June 15th of sophomore year. They can't really respond. So one of the most common questions that I end up getting is, hey, should I email so-and-so coach? And oftentimes there's kind of two major holes in that thought process. Number one is, the coach can't even respond. So like your best case scenario is like, hey, yeah, keep me posted on tournaments. But in all cases, they probably just aren't even going to respond. So it doesn't make a ton of sense. Number two, it also kind of like puts you focused on the wrong thing, right? We're focused on reaching out to coaches instead of developing our game, which is obviously a problem. And it's also just kind of sets up the wrong expectations. Also, just to kind of show you guys how impactful this is with just, one example of a student I've worked with. This is how this goes. Like June 15th, right away, got programs reaching out to him, trying to understand what he needs to do. For context, just so you guys have this, for him, where he was at, he was ranked 186th in his class. No. That's a year prior. All right, cool. So he's ranked 116th in his class. He was scoring differential negative 1.26. So, for context, those types of programs, that's the position that he was in order to generate that type of interest. There's another player that I work with. He had a negative 2.5 scoring differential, and he had about 13 different programs reaching out to him directly as of June 15th. So that's really when coaches are going to reach out. The question you want to be asking is, how do I position my child to be at that spot when those programs can reach out? That's really the math you want to be doing. Now, for those of you who are watching this and you're saying, hey, I don't know if my kid, is in that position. I don't know if my kid can get to a negative 1.6 scoring differential and negative 2.5. At the end of the day, it matters where they get to when they're getting recruited. So if you go here, college signings on Junior Golf Scoreboard, you're going to see all the players that were recruited back in 2018. They're starting to fill out 2026. But you're going to see their overall ranking, their scoring differential, the program that recruited them, right? So if you say, hey, I want to go to Stanford, then you can actually look up what was required for Stanford. You're going to see that scoring differential, okay? And so at the end of the day, you just want to be able to get there and say, hey, I think we're on pace for that and we should be in a good spot. Typically what I see is less than a negative 1 scoring differential. You're going to have a hard time getting a lot of traction with Division One coaches, and you're definitely going to get fewer Division One programs reaching out. Now, granted, you're probably going to have D2 and D3 programs reaching out. So you do have that benefit. But that's really the perspective that I want to give you. Is just like, hey, if you can get to that negative 1.5 or better, that's really an awesome place to be, to have programs reaching out to you, or your child. In most cases, hopefully I'm talking to parents here. And if you're a junior golfer watching this, get your parent involved in this. This is really the only way you're going to be able to make much progress. So anyway, once you've kind of got that target, right? June 15th, we want to be in that position. We want to be at that negative 1.5 scoring differential. The next thing we need to do is identify, like, where do we need to be, right? So all these kids in 2028, they're right on the cusp here. Doesn't matter how good they are, though, that they can't communicate with a Division One program legally, right? So it's just important to keep that context here. So what you need to do is you want to get ranked on Junior Golf Scoreboard. You want to have one of these rankings. And more specifically, you want to have the scoring differential number. Now, this scoring differential, I'm going to talk about that in other videos of just how that number is actually produced. and really what you need to focus on there. So that'll be another video. But what you want to be able to have is a ranking so you know what that number is for you. Now I'm going to kind of do some hypothetical numbers just so you guys can kind of sort of grasp this a little bit. But let's say you're in 8th grade, right? And you've got a scoring differential of 4, right? And you know that you need to get to a negative 1.5 scoring differential to have the programs you want to reach out to. And obviously, there's a sliding scale. If you want to go to Stanford, it's a little bit different than if you want to go to Oregon State or so on and so forth. But anyway, just for the sake of this example here, let's say we got a scoring differential of 4 right now. We're in 8th grade. And we want to get to negative 1.5 by sophomore year. So we got 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade. We've got 3 years ahead of us. And we need to improve by 5.5 shots, right? 4 plus negative 1.5. Total 5.5 shots, right? So we can just break out our handy dandy calculator and we can say, all right, I've got 5.5 shots I need to improve by. I'm going to divide that by 3. So I need to improve by 1.8 shots per year. That's the simple math of saying, hey, I need to improve by this much. Up until that point, it makes absolutely no sense to try and do any type of like crazy college recruiting stuff. Like have good grades, obviously. That's super important. But it really doesn't matter to do anything aside from bring the scoring average down, playing the right tournaments, which again, there are other videos on this channel specifically discussing, right? But this is the mapping that you want to do. So if your child isn't ranked, get them ranked, right? I've got other videos on this channel going through how to get your child ranked on Junior Golf Scoreboard. It's very easy to do. You just need to play in a minimum of 4 events. Again, those other videos will cover that subject, or you can search my name and like tournaments and plenty of videos will come up. So that's thing number 1. That's going to give you where your child is at right now. Then once you have that, you want to say, okay, how many years do we have? Where are we at right now? Where do we want to get to, right? For context, the average junior golfer on Junior Golf Scoreboard improves by about 1.2 shots per year. That's average. And so some do better, some do worse. I would not, unless you can document otherwise with data, assume that your child is going to improve faster than that. That's just, again, if you're doing what most people are doing, most people are spending about $10,000 per year on just golf instruction alone. Just that's based on golf.com. So people are spending a good chunk of change, and that's about how much they're improving, right? Now, for context, when I work with a player, the average player I work with improves by about 4 shots per year. Those who are very disciplined about what I'm doing, they improve by more. But you can kind of see here where once we've established where we're at, where we're trying to get to, how much time we have, the only leftover variable is how fast are we going to improve. So again, you can do whatever you're doing, improve however fast you improve. Obviously, this is what I do for a living. I work with junior golfers and help them develop to play Division I golf. This is all I do. I don't work with your club golfer. I don't work with just random amateur golfers. I don't work with professional golfers. I just work with junior golfers to make sure this process is super tight for them. They understand what they need to do. If you're interested in that, click the link below. There's an application you can fill out. Make sure that your child's a good fit. And then it'll kind of walk you through next steps, schedule a call, we'll be able to talk it over and make sure it makes sense. If you need help specifically with picking out the tournaments, I also have a link below where you can get my entire framework for how to pick tournaments, how to navigate stuff like AJGA, Junior Golf Scoreboard, which tournaments you're playing in, and when, right? Like if your child's shooting 88 right now, they need to be playing in different tournaments than if they're shooting 72. Same thing if they're 10, it's going to be different than if they're 16 or 17 right now. And so I cover all of that and that. So if you're interested in just getting a little bit more help with the tournament stuff, you're not quite ready for just working with me directly and having me build out your child's practice, analyze your stats, and all the stuff that goes into direct one-on-one support with me. That's not something you guys are quite ready for, but you want a little bit of help with the tournaments. Again, there's a link below, and there'll also be a link below to jump on my newsletter where I send out videos like this. We're shooting for twice a week this year. And so if you guys are interested in just getting updates when I come out with new videos, there's also a link down there below. So hopefully you can find one of those things that's going to help you the most. But yeah, just in summary here, June 15th, the sophomore year is really the target. I want to make sure that your child's ranked, and then you just want to do the math of, hey, how much do we need to improve and what specific variables do we need to focus on in order to get that scoring differential down. And if you want more help with that, again, links in the description. Go ahead and check those out, or check out some of the other videos on this channel as well. Hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you guys in the next one.